Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. The paper we are solving today is IGCSE Chemistry, October-November 2023, and this is a paper number 22. Alright, now let's start with the first question. Part of a cooling curve for water is shown. We know that 100 degrees Celsius water converts to steam, and below that it is in liquid. What is occurring between X and Y? See, between X and Y, it must be a liquid here and it must be a solid here. It is freezing. It is freezing. All right. So steam is condensing into water. Is steam present at 0 degrees Celsius? No. The temperature of the water is decreasing. The temperature of the water is decreasing. See, from X to Y, the temperature is same. It is 0 degrees Celsius only. So no. Ice is melting? No. Ice is forming. This is wrong. So answer should be D. Now, why? Particles are losing heat to the surroundings. Now just think about it. It is transitioning from liquid to solid. Liquid molecules have more energy, solid have less energy. So where is the excess energy going? Surroundings. Make sense? So answer is D. Now, which statement about clean, dry air are correct? It is a mixture of elements only. It is a mixture of elements and compounds. See, clean, dry air contains CO2, O2, N2. So elements are there as well as compounds are there. Carbon dioxide is a compound, right? So the answer should be 2 and 3. Now, a representation of an atom is shown. What is the nucleon number? See, nucleon number is the same as mass number, which we know is the same sum of protons and neutrons. Right? How many protons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many neutrons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 protons plus 6 neutrons. Is it 7 protons? I think it is 6 protons, 7 neutrons. So the answer should be 13. Question number 4. The percentage abundance of 3 isotopes in a sample of neon are shown. There are 3 isotopes. Percentage is given. What is the relative atomic mass of this sample of neon? Now, this question you can also solve without using maths or anything. How? See, the mass number 20 isotope has the highest abundance, 90. It means the relative atomic mass should be closest to 20, right? And the closest to 20 is 20.19. See, 21 has the percentage of 0.27, so it doesn't matter. But answer is B. Still, if you want to be 100% sure, then you can use solve it out as well. 90.48 by 100 times 20 plus 0.27 by 100, since it is the percentage, so out of 100 into 21 plus 9.25 by 100 times 22. When you solve this, your answer will come out to be 20.19. Maybe your teachers might have taught you this way, that you just multiply the percentage abundance with the mass and add all of them and then divide by 100. That is also the same method. It's just maths only. All right. 100 will be common. So it's the same way. You do it like this or do it like this. Answer will be B. Now, potassium reacts with iodine to form potassium iodide, and we know it's an ionic compound. Potassium loses one electron, iodine gains one electron. Which statement about potassium iodide is correct? Each potassium atom shares a pair of electrons. No. In ionic compound, in ionic bonding, transfer of electrons is there, not share. Wrong. In potassium iodide, the particles of potassium have more protons than electrons. Now, this question is very simple, but our students often misunderstand it. See, what it is saying is the particles of potassium have more protons than electrons. Potassium in normal atomic form has atomic number 19. So 19 protons are there, 19 electrons are there. But now in ionic form, it is K plus 1. So protons are same, but the electrons are 18 electrons. Is that right? Right? Now read it again. Particles of potassium have more protons than it contains electrons. Electrons are 18 protons. This is right. Potassium iodide has a high melting point. This is correct because it is covalent compound. No, it is ionic compound. Potassium iodide has low melting point. Wrong. Answer is B. Which substance has the lowest melting point? See, graphite high, silicon oxide high, sodium chloride ionic compound high. Methanol is a covalent compound. They generally have low melting point. So answer is B. Answer is B. Now, the diagram shows the structure of a molecule of ethyl ethanoate. What is the molecular formula of molecule? See, molecular formula, you just need to count the number of atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbon atoms. This is wrong. This is wrong. This contains 4 carbon atoms. This contains 4. Now, hydrogen atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hydrogen atoms. This is how much? This is 4 only. So the answer is B. A hydrocarbon contains this much carbon by mass. See, now this is a hydrocarbon, means it contains carbon hydrogen. It is containing 85.7% carbon by mass. Then 100 minus 85.7, 14.3 must be hydrogen. Alright, now what we need to do is we need to figure out the moles. So if you divide 14.3 by 1, because the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1 only, so the moles is 14.3 only. But for carbon, you divide 85.7 by 12. The moles are coming out to be 7.14. Now, you divide with smallest moles to get the smallest ratio. So 7.14 divided by 7.14, 14.13 divided by 7.14. So it is nearly 1.97, which you can round up to 2. So C1H2. Answer should be A. Alright. The formula of a compound containing element X is Na2X2O3. The relative formula mass of this compound is 158. So what is the relative atomic mass of X? See, Na2X2O3. Atomic mass of sodium is 23, so 2 times 23 plus 2 times X. X I am taking as the atomic mass of X. Plus 3 times 16 is equals to 0. Not 0, sorry. They have given you the total mass, which is 158. So 46 plus 2x plus 48 is equals to 158. Now you do 158 minus 48, 110 minus 46, 64 is equals to 2x. Now most students will pick the answer 64, but that is the mass of x2. They're asking for x only. The answer should be 32, which is A. Alright. Dilute aqueous potassium chloride is electrolyzed using platinum electrodes. Platinum is inert electrode. Alright. Which row identifies the product at each electrode? Now see. For dilute solution, I will give you a tip. For any kind of dilute solution in your IGCSE syllabus, there is only one equation at anode. Only one. Any kind of dilute solution. The equation is this. I'm sure you have seen this. O2 plus 2H2O plus 4 electrons. And the product is oxygen. Alright. So at anode, the product will be oxygen. Now at cathode, how do we decide? See, this is an aqueous solution. So you have H plus and you have K plus as well. For cathode, there is this single rule that the less reactive one will go to cathode. Which one is less reactive? Hydrogen or potassium? Hydrogen, obviously. So the answer is C. Alright. Concentrated aqueous copper chloride is electrolyzed using copper electrodes. Now this is a case of copper electrode where you're using a reactive electrode, right? And this is that experiment, I'm sure you must have done this in school, that cathode increases in mass and anode decreases in mass. Why? Because cathode, the equation is Cu2 plus 2 electrons giving copper. Since anode oxidation takes place, see, at anode oxidation takes place, right? Now if oxidation is taking place, means loss of electrons is there. So copper is converting to Cu2 plus 2 electrons. But at cathode, copper is being deposited, right? And cathode is the negative electrode. So the negative electrode must increase in mass and the positive electrode must decrease in mass. So which answer is correct? B is the correct answer. You will find it in your notes. Just go through your course book. You will find the same there. Cathode increases in mass because copper is being deposited there. Anode decreases in mass because copper is getting oxidized. Copper is losing electrons. So the answer is B. Now, the initial and final temperature of 4 different reactions are measured. Which reaction is the least exothermic? See, the reaction which is least exothermic, some students will think wherever there is the least temperature change. right? The least temperature change will be least exothermic. That is correct. But if they've given you some endothermic reaction, that is already the least exothermic, right? So let's look if they've given you any endothermic reactions where the temperature is increasing. Initial 22, this is 26. So this is endothermic reaction. And there is nothing least exothermic than compared to endothermic. So this is the least exothermic. Alright, see, this is exothermic reaction 21 to 18. The temperature changes 3 degrees Celsius. 22 to 17, this is also exothermic, but they're asking you least exothermic, and endothermic reactions are least exothermic. So answer is D. Alright, now question number 13. Which equation represents an endothermic reaction? Now, they have not mentioned anything here, but notice one thing. This is a combustion reaction, which is exothermic. This is a highly reactive metal reactive with water. It's exothermic. Hydrogen gas combining to form a product. So this is a combination reaction. Combination reactions are generally exothermic. A. Now, why A is the correct answer? See, the molecule of chlorine, which contains two atoms, it is splitting into two separate atoms, unbonded. So now this is breaking up of something. So this is in a way decomposition. So the answer is A. Now, methane burns in oxygen to form CO2 and water. These are just lengthy questions, not difficult. All right, see. What we need to do is you need to do reactants minus product. So let's do one thing first of all. Let's write the equation properly. So CH4 is this. This is your CH4. Plus oxygen is double bonded like this, and this is times 2. So let's write it times 2. CO2 looks like this, C double bond O from both sides, plus H2O looks like this. And this is also times 2. Right? Now you should simply figure out the energy of reactants first of all. So let's do that. This is one carbon hydrogen bond, another carbon hydrogen bond, another carbon hydrogen bond, another carbon hydrogen bond. So we have 4 carbon hydrogen bonds, which is 4 times 410. Plus oxygen double bonded oxygen is 496, but it is times 2. So 2 times 496. This is the energy of your reactants. So 410 times 4 plus 496 times 2. It is coming out to be 2632. Now let's figure out energy of products. In products, you have carbon double bonded oxygen, but this is 2 times. So 805 times 2. Now you have oxygen bonded to hydrogen 2 times in same molecule, but this is also times 2. So it will be 4 times OH bond. So which is OH bond is 460. So 4 times 460. Meaning 460 times 4 plus 805 times 2. 3450. Now simply do reactants minus product. So 2632 minus 3450. Answer is coming out to be negative 818 kilojoules per mole. Alright, so your correct answer is A. These questions are not difficult, these are just lengthy. The simplest way is that you figure out the energy of reactant, then product, and then do the subtraction. And if it is negative, it is exothermic. If it is positive, endothermic. There are multiple methods out there. Your teachers might have taught you some other method, but I find this is the simplest. So you should use this one. You can use this one. Now, hydrochloric acid is added to excess calcium carbonate in 2 separate experiments. 2 different concentrations of hydrochloric acid are used, but the temperature is same. So the temperature is same means the energy must be same. The energy depends upon temperature, right? So energy must be same. The graph of the results show the volume of CO2. So we can clearly see the one with more concentration, it is also obtaining high volume of CO2. CO2? Yeah, high CO2. And the one with lower concentration, it is obtaining low volume. Alright, now we know that when concentration increases, you have more particles per unit volume, right? This is what concentration increases means. You have more particles per unit volume, so definitely the collision rate will increase, the frequency of collisions will increase. So it should be out of A and B. What about the energy? The energy stays the same, so the answer is A. It appeared like a simple difficult question, but it's very simple. Temperature is same, so energy is same. Concentration is increasing, so more particles per unit volume, collision will also increase. Answer is A. The decomposition of dinitrogen tetroxide into nitrogen dioxide NO2 is a reversible reaction. The equation for the reaction is shown. The forward reaction is endothermic. So if you're going forward, it is endothermic. Which row shows the effect of position of equilibrium and the rate of reverse reaction when the temperature is increased? Now see, if you increase the temperature in endothermic reaction, if you increase the temperature in endothermic reaction, equilibrium favors the forward side because it is helping it, right? So it should go to the right. That is correct. Now, what happens to the rate of reverse reaction? See, if you're going towards the right, that is the forward side. So what will happen to the reverse, opposite side? What happens to the opposite side? It will also increase. Why? Because equilibrium tries to minimize the change. So if you're going to the forward side, equilibrium will try that you shift to the left hand side. So the rate of reverse reaction will also increase. Is it clear? You can just take it like to be a seesaw. If one side is getting heavier, the other one will also try to balance it out. So it will also increase. Question number 17. In a blast furnace, iron 3 oxide is converted to iron. Alright, we remember this equation from extraction of metals. What happens to each of these reactants? See, we know that iron 3 oxide is getting reduced because it is losing oxygen, and carbon monoxide is getting oxidized. So iron 3 oxide is getting oxidized? No. It is getting reduced. That is correct because it is losing oxygen. On the other hand, carbon monoxide is gaining oxygen. See, earlier it is CO, now it is CO2. What do you think? Gain of oxygen or loss of oxygen? Gain of oxygen, obviously. So it is oxidized. Answer is D. Which row describes what happens to iron 2 plus ions when they are oxidized? What happens to iron 2 plus ions when they are oxidized? See, oxidation of metal, oxidation simply means loss of electrons, right? So it will lose more electrons. So they lose electrons. You can remember the mnemonic oil rig. Oxidation is loss, reduction is gain. So oxidation is loss of electrons. What happens to the oxidation number? Now see, just think about it. If it is losing electrons, means the negative charge is decreasing, but the positive charge is still the same. So the positive charge must be higher now. So the oxidation number must be higher, right? And when oxidation takes place, the oxidation number increases as well. So answer should be D. In which reaction does an acid react with a base? Now this is a very good question. A lot of children, when they read this statement, they just try to search. Just show me acid or base. Wherever acid and base is written, I will pick that option. Now let's see. Let's try to figure it out. Is this an acid? Yes. Is magnesium a base? No. This is an acid? Yes. Is barium chloride a base? No. Is this a base? Yes. Is this an acid? No. Is this a base? Yes. Is this an acid? No. Now what do you do? So think carefully first of all. Now in this case, you use the basic method. You try to figure out acid and base, but always one is lacking. If you have acid, then the base is not given. If you have base, the acid is not given. Now what to do? Is the question wrong? No, it's not wrong. Now just listen to this carefully. See, magnesium is clearly not a base. Magnesium oxide, if they had written, then we could say that metal oxides are basic in nature. Then we could have picked answer A is correct. But in this case, it is wrong. Option B. This is a salt. Barium chloride is a salt. Alright. Aqueous sodium hydroxide is added to aqueous copper sulfate. Again, it's a salt. Aqueous sodium hydroxide is added to solid ammonium sulfate. This is a salt, but this is a special one. This is an acidic salt. Right. Now, how do you know this is an acidic salt? See, just think about it. Ammonium salt it is. So what do you think? It must be made from sulfate. And it must be made from some base which contained ammonia, let's say, right? Ammonia. Now, sulfate is a strong acid. Sulfuric acid is a strong acid. And ammonium base is a weak base. Ammonium bases are weak bases. Ammonium bases are weak bases. Sulfuric acid is a strong acid. So when you mix strong acid with a weak base, what do you get? You get a strong, you get an acidic salt, you can say, right? When you mix a strong acid, which is sulfuric acid, with a weak base that is ammonium base, ammonium hydroxide, you can say, then you get an acidic salt. So this is your base and this is your acidic salt. Even if it is a salt, it is still acidic. So you can say answer D is correct. Now you can clearly tell that these are not acidic salts, but it's up to you. Just give it a try and think about it, research about it, whether barium chloride is a neutral salt or basic salt. Same for copper sulfate, if it is a neutral salt or basic salt. Just think about it. All right, this question was a good question. The clarification is ammonium salt, since it is made from sulfuric acid, which is a strong acid, and it is made from ammonium salt, weak base. So the salt is ammonium base, sorry, then the salt is acidic, which is a strong acidic salt. That is why answer is D. Now, which element forms an oxide that reacts with an aqueous solution of a base? What would react with a base? Acid. So you have to figure out which element will form acidic oxide. Now, which elements form acidic oxides? Metals or non-metals? Non-metals. Pick a non-metal. Sulfur. This is noble gas. It won't react. Metal. Metal. So pick a non-metal because it will form acidic oxide. That will then react with a base. So the answer is B. Which method is used to produce insoluble salts? There is only one method in our syllabus, that is precipitation. So the answer is C. The noble gases are in group 8 of the periodic table. Some properties of the first 4 noble gases are shown. And you can see that the boiling point, there's a trend, density is increasing. All right. Which row identify trends in the boiling point and density as group 8 is descendant? See, as you're going down, the group, the boiling point is increasing, right? It's getting less negative, so it is increasing. And the density is also increasing. Answer is B. Some properties of element R are shown. Melting point, boiling point, reaction with cold water, reaction when heated with oxygen. All right. In which part of the periodic table R is found? All right. Now, one hint that they have given us here is that it reacts with cold water. If it is reacting with cold water, it must be one of the reactive metals. It must be one of the reactive metals. And then reaction when heated with oxygen, it gives a white solid. Now this is telling me that this is not a transition metal, because transition metals form colored compounds, but this is white, so it must be some group 1 metal. Answer is A. All right. Reaction with cold water told me that the it's a metal, and melting point is C, very low. So it must be a group 1 metal. Also, reaction when heated with oxygen, it is giving a white solid. White solids are usually found by group 1 metal. So the answer is A. Which pair of compounds show transition metals have variable oxidation states? So this is just asking you, you have to pick a pair where the same metal has different oxidation states. It might be possible that chromium must be having +3, then +2 in one of the options, right? So let's do this. Cr2O3 and CrBr3. So in this, it is 2 times x plus 3 times -2 is equals to 0. So 2 times x is equals to 6, x is equals to +3. But also in CrBr3, the chromium is also having the same oxidation state of +3. So is this the answer? No. In copper sulfate, you know that SO4 is -2, so copper must be +2. In CuCl2 as well, you know that x plus 2 times -1. Halogen halide ions are -1, so it is again +2 only. So this is also wrong. But if you look at Fe2O3 and FeCl2, Fe2O3 and FeCl2, this is 2 times x plus 3 times -2 is equals to 0. In case you have a problem finding oxidation state, I have a video uploaded on YouTube for the same. You should check it out. Everything is explained there regarding basic redox of IGCSE chemistry. Everything is covered. So 2 times x plus 3 times 2, negative 2 is equals to 0. So 2x is equals to plus 6, x is equals to plus 3. Here it is x plus 2 times negative 1. So x is plus 2. Now this is showing me that iron is a transition metal. Variable oxidation state, sorry. Plus 3 here, plus 2 here. So C should be the correct answer. Now let's also check why D is wrong, because it appears that it might be correct as well. Let's see. NiO, NiCl2. NiXO is negative 2. So X is plus 2. X plus chloride ion 2 times negative 1. X is plus 2 again. That is why D is wrong. Alright. Now let me erase all of this. Now question number 25. The list gives the order of some metals and hydrogen in the reactivity series. Metal X is also included. Metal X is below hydrogen. So will it react with water? No. Reacts with water. Also it will not react with dilute acids. So answer should be out of A and B. And we have also studied that the metals above carbon are extracted using electrolysis. The reactive metals are extracted using electrolysis, and the less reactive metals are extracted using reduction with carbon. Right? So the answer should be B. When zinc is added to aqueous solution containing magnesium ions, there is no reaction. Which species has the greatest tendency to lose electrons? Now see, which species has the greatest tendency to lose electrons? By this, they're simply asking you what is more reactive. What is more reactive? The more reactive a metal is, the more tendency it has to lose electrons. Now, out of magnesium and zinc, what is more reactive? Magnesium, obviously, right? But now we have A and B, both is magnesium. See, Mg2 plus is already stable. It has already lost 2 electrons. The configuration of magnesium is 2, 8, 2. It has already lost 2 electrons and formed a positive ion. So this will not be the answer. This has a tendency to lose. So the answer is A. Alright. Which gas in air is needed for iron to rust? Argon, CO2, nitrogen, oxygen. Oxygen and water are required. So oxygen. Which coating prevents iron from rusting even when the coating is damaged? See, grease does not, painting, plastic, no. But zinc, it does. It does provides protection. Why is limestone added to blast furnace? We know that limestone CaCO3 is added. It gets decomposed and forms CaO plus CO2. But the last reaction of iron extraction is CaO plus SiO2 giving CaSiO3, right? It forms slag. And what is this? This is the impurity from iron ore, SiO2. So what is this ultimately doing? It is reacting with impurity, right? It neutralizes the molten slag produced. Nope. It reacts with the impurities to form slag. This appears right. It releases CO2, which reduces iron oxide. See, it is releasing CO2. That is true. But does CO2 reduce carbon monoxide, or sorry, does CO2 reduce iron 3 oxide, or Fe2O3 is reduced by carbon monoxide? Check your notes, you will find CO reduces it. It removes acidic gases such as CO2. No. Answer is B. Now, the flowchart shows stages in the treatment of river water to produce drinking water. River water sedimentation tank stage J. So you have to just label it. All right. We know that chlorination and filtration is done. So you can say answer is C. This is a very simple question. Filtration is done, then chlorination is done, then it is supplied. Now, question number 32. Oxides of nitrogen such as nitrogen monoxide NO2 are formed in petrol engines of cars. They're removed from exhaust gases by reactions in the car's catalytic converter. This is true. Catalytic converters converts the highly poisonous gases to less poisonous ones. Which row describes how oxides of nitrogen are formed in petrol engine and a reaction that happens in the catalytic converter? See, the oxides of nitrogen are formed by the reaction between nitrogen and oxygen. This is true, N2O2. But where is it obtained from? From air? I think so. Nitrogen and oxygen both are obtained from air. So this is correct. Nitrogen compounds in petrol, oxygen in from air. No, this is wrong. C and D is wrong. We have to finalize between A and B. Now, what is the equation? See, nitrogen monoxide will react with carbon monoxide because these are more poisonous ones. And this will convert into unreactive nitrogen and CO2, less toxic. So the correct answer is A. Now, next question. Which diagram shows the displayed formula of the named organic compound? Ethanoic acid it is showing there are two carbons, correct, but there is a problem here. It is saying C triple OH. Is this carboxylic acid? This is double bond, double OH only. So this is wrong. Ethene, carbon double bond carbon, right? But there are three hydrogens on each carbon here. This is wrong. Look at the carbon, it is forming 5 bonds. Is it possible? Carbon can form only 4 bonds. This is wrong. Ethanol, ethanol, what is the formula? CH3, CH2OH, right? And you can also check by the general formula CnH2n plus 1 OH, but I do not recommend this. But if you're facing problems, then you can use this. How many carbons? 2 H 4 plus 1 OH. So C2H5OH means C2H6O. Count 1, 2. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. 1 O. Yes. Answer is C. Methane. Meth means 1 carbon. 2 carbons. Wrong. What is the total number of covalent bonds in a molecule of butane? Now see, for butane, what you should do is draw 4 carbons like this. Then just put on hydrogens. Hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. Now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 is the answer. Propane reacts with chlorine. This is a substitution reaction. Which reaction condition is required? For this, ultraviolet light is required. Answer is D. Substitution reaction is also called as photochemical reaction because it requires UV light. Alright. The structure of an organic compound is shown. Which structure represents a molecule that reacts with steam to produce this product? So they're asking, there is a reaction out there in your syllabus which forms this product. You have to tell me what reacts with steam to give you this product, this alcohol product. And we know that hydration reaction is there. It's an addition reaction where alkene reacts with H2O in the form of steam to form alcohol, right? And the number of carbon should be same. If this is propanol, that should be propene. Now, this is propene, so the answer is D. Which term describes nylon? It's a condensation polymer. Is it mentioned? No. Then it is a polyamide. That is true. So 37, answer is C. Ethene can be polymerized. Which diagram represents the structure of the product form? See, ethene looks like this. Ethene is this. When it undergoes polymerization, the double bond between breaks and these are open like this. Then you cut it out like this. So is this the answer? No, this is ethene only. Is this the answer? It appears like it, but the double bond is still here. Think about it. The double bond is still here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bonds. Not possible. B is wrong. C is the correct answer. D is just a butene. This is butene. Butene. So this is wrong. Answer is C. An acid-base titration is described. This much dilute aqueous alkali. We know that alkali is poured using pipette and the acid drips through the burette. Indicator is added, dilute acid is added to the aqueous alkali. The volume of acid is used, then recorded. This is done using burette. Which use of apparatus is correct? 25 centimeter cube of aqueous alkali is measured using a volumetric pipette. Is this right? Yes, it is. Is measured using lines of the conical flask? No, highly inaccurate. Volume of acid is measured using burette. Wrong. Volume of acid is measured using pipette? No, wrong. Burette. Now, question number 40. Substance Q is investigated using chromatography. The chromatogram is shown. Alright. What is the RF value of Q? See, for RF value, we know the formula is distance traveled by the impurity or the solute divided by distance traveled by solvent. Right? How much is Q traveling? Q is traveling from here to this point. And this distance must be 83 minus 13. you will subtract it, 83 minus 13. And what is the distance traveled by the solvent front? You take the distance from baseline. The total distance from here to here is 114, but you subtract 13 from it. So 114 minus 13, which is 101. This is the solvent distance. Solute is 70. 83 minus 13 is 70. So 70 over 101, how much is this coming out to be? 70 divided by 101. 0.69. Is there an option? Yes. Answer is C. Alright. Now, we are done with the paper. In case of any doubts, feel free to let me know in the comments section. The next paper we'll be solving will be a theory paper for physics.